going.
Back up. All right, now I am going to sand and clean this up. All right, so we can stain the backside black. Go ahead and start. Okay, now I'm kind of going cross. Okay, as I do this, I'm going to sliding it at an angle. I'm going in a cross motion as I go forward. And that way it helps to keep you from gouging and digging into your material. It's kind of like shaving with the straight razor. Same principle. Okay, next I'm going to sand this after I get all this rough off of it. This has been on there for years, as you can tell, all this debris, you know, from the stain, lacquer, poly, whatever they used in the past. All right, go ahead. I'm finishing this up. I want to show you one more thing here. All right, this will speed up my sanding time. All right, now I'm going to show you these screw holes right here underneath my finger. All right, this is a little bump. That's what happens when you put a screw in there, and it keeps you from getting a real tight fit. All right, so we're just going to scrape this off. Okay, catch it from this other angle. Bam. All right, and that's on all of these screw holes right here. All right, that always happens. If you want your material, it's crucial that it sticks close and tight. You want to come back and cut these off after you've drilled the hole. And
I'm looking for you there.
Right here. Here's the hole. I just cleaned that off. See, here's the debris that created that bump. Okay, that's quite a bit, and that prevents it from being a real tight fit, although this was pretty tight. But that's how you get something tight, up close and personal, and it's tight and you know it. Now this expedites the sanding process. All right, this is stain that got on there from when I was staining it. All right, and so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to light, and you see I'm going forward, but this chisel's really flat, and I'm kind of going at a slicing motion as I do this. All right, and it's almost level, or flat should I say. All right, next I'll be sanding, and I'm just using a used 80 grit. All right, and I'm just going to come across, I'm going to scuff this up and take this down so this gets light, and when this turns a light golden brown and kind of some white showing through, I'll know it's good enough to accept the stain, and that's what we're looking for. All right, now you can see here how light that is compared to over here. Okay, considerably lighter. Now if I was going over it with the golden oak, that would be fine. If you're going to use, you know, a redwood or something, you probably want to take out the palm sander and sand it all the way down to where it looked like this. That's just a raw wood. All right, but this is black. I could use a palm sanders to speed up the process. This probably took me 2 minutes to get this looking that way by hand with this wore out 80 grit. And this is a backside. It's not critical, but take the time to do it right. And so you do what it takes. All right, so I'm going to go over this whole thing with the palm sander. It's going to look this good or better, but remember I'm going black. And so, like I said, that's fine. If I was doing golden oak, that would be fine. You don't have to take it all the way, but you want to reveal the wood surface so that it penetrates the wood, and that's ultimately what you're wanting to accomplish. Okay. Now see, there's the black right over the top of the staining. You can see where it had actually penetrated this area. All right, now I was not trying to stain this. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be all the way down to just the raw wood grain, okay? And so this here is probably good enough. You can see it's all cleaned up. And stay tuned for the end. I've got a bonus, something I'm going to show you that I'm going to introduce so you can see, get a preview of what this cabinet is going to look like. So stay tuned. Okay, I've got this sandpaper bent, alright? And that's to take on the contour right here. Alright, so I can sand this right here, and it gets down in there, and I got my finger in there. Alright, I'm just going to go along this edge and sand. Okay, I am just coming across here, making a line. You don't necessarily have to, because you can see the stain line already there. Alright, and I'm trying to show you. Now I'm just going to come down. Alright, that way I cross the grain to make sure it's accepted and pushed into the grain, because that's real coarse grain. Alright, then I'm going to go across it. Okay, and I'm going to come back across the grain and finish it off that way. Alright, and that's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish off with the grain. Okay, this is detailing here. Now, RG Homestead, he is having a giveaway for his 1K. He's got a new tent, a cook stove, and a really cool knife that he's giving away. Just go comment and you'll be in the drawing. Okay, now stay tuned for the end of this video. I've got something special I'm going to introduce that you're going to miss if you don't stay tuned. Alright, and now I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to spray it with polyurethane, and I'll be ready to mount it when that dries. Okay. Okay, let's get that bristle brush right down, wiggle that. As you wiggle this, it releases the stain or your paint right down in this. Just kind of when I wiggle it, kind of press it down and wiggle. And look, right down into that corner. Okay. The last video I did this with the staining sponge, but ultimately, and you could use a bigger brush. So this is like a 3/4. You could use a 2-inch brush, or even a 3. Okay, but you just want to do that, then kind of come along, you get it right down into that corner, wiggle it, kind of press down, wiggle. Alright, and bam, there we have it. Solid all the way through. Okay, then we're going to go all the way around. It's time to re-dip this brush. Okay, I'm going to come in here, wiggle it, get it going. Alright, bam, and as you see, it's getting it right down in there. Alright, you just continue to make your pass. Okay, you just get it all the way through. Solid, that's what you want. Okay, and these corners are the hardest place to get. Down in these joints are the most difficult places to try to get your stain. And that's how you want to do it. It's better than a sponge. Alright. Okay, let's get this end grain. Alright, we're going to go across it. I'm going to get it saturated here. Okay, then catch this, make sure your brush is good and wet. Alright, so you can get this. Alright, that's good and wet. Now, you come in here. Alright, now I should have a 3-inch, 2.5-inch brush, but I'm working with what I've got. You could go over this with a sponge, but I'm liking this much better using the brush. Okay, now this is loaded up with stain. Okay, So instead of saturating this area here and taking off the excess, alright, you can kind of bring that excess down into it. Alright, you see that goes pretty quickly this way. Okay. It's getting dry. Redip the brush. Shake off the excess so it's not dripping. Okay, it's not dripping. Good enough. Alright, again, just kind of get the excess back here. Alright. And then just kind of bring it down in there. Alright. Then take this, get all the way through. Okay, we can see it's kind of drying in this area right there. Alright, so let's add a little bit more. Okay, let's come across here. That end grain absorbs a whole lot more. Alright. That end grain will always absorb a whole lot more. Now, you want to dry brush these edges. Okay, right here. This outer edge, it's called dry brushing. This has got just enough stain in it, okay, to transfer it to the material. That way it doesn't run over the edge and get on the face on the bottom side, alright? So you want to just kind of dry brush this. Now this is a painter's trick. Okay, it's called dry brushing because it doesn't have much paint in it, okay? But that's how you've got to do it. So it doesn't run over the edge and get the other side all messed up. Okay. Now I'm going to raise this up so you can see. Okay, now you can see that this side is completely dry. Nothing ran over the edge. Alright, now I'm going to lay this over so you can see. Alright, now this side is alright, but the other side is completely dry, and that's why you want to dry brush these finger pulls at this point. Alright, dry brushing, that's the purpose here. It only goes where you want it to. Alright, the finger pull. Okay, now when you're painting this and your brush is really saturated, alright, again, you don't want your excess stain paint to run over your outer edge, alright, here, and then roll down and then roll underneath the bottom, the face of it, alright? So you want to sort of dry brush this over here, so you really want to spread the excess out, alright? Because this is full of paint, and if this was a bigger brush, obviously you'd have more. Okay, I've got this drip here. Alright, I'm just going to lay that in there. Start here at the back, bring it all the way up. Bam, and that's good. Now I'm going to spread this out, the excess. Okay, I'm going to get right to this edge. Okay, I'm going to bring this over here. Alright, now my brush is getting, it's getting dry. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and continue to brush this now. I don't have to be concerned about it running over like you're seeing it do there, and then running on the face. Let's see here. Alright, I got it on the face. Alright, so now what am I going to do? Now with the stain and the fact that the other side has been polyurethaned, okay, I can then take a clean part of my rag, alright, where it's ran over on the face right here, alright, and I'm going to take my rag at this point and I'm going to wipe it. Okay, you can see got a little bit coming off. Now this has been polyurethane, so the face is protected. Alright, which allows me to continue to wipe off this excess that ran onto the face. So here we go. Alright, looks like I've got it. Now I'm going to flip this over here so you can see how it's affected the face of this drawer, this door. Alright, now again, clean part of the rag. Alright, right here. I'm clean now. Let's raise it up and let's take a look at it. Okay, let me get this raised up. Alright, there's where it has ran. Alright, now we're going to take this, we're just going to wipe this right off. Okay, and with the poly on there, alright, you never know that there was anything on the face. You got to get it while it's wet. Alright, there you have it. Okay, we're just going to take this rag and just come down again all the way through. That's how you do that. You'd never know there's anything on the face of this because it's been polyurethane. Alright, so we don't have any mishaps like I was talking about. Make sure you dry brush, basically, when it's a little bit damp, the outer edge, alright? But keep the majority of the stain in the larger area and away from the edge. That way it doesn't run over the edges, down and underneath on the face, alright? Now, in the event that happens, I showed you how easy it is to clean up if your face of your cabinet or whatever it is you're staining has poly on it, okay? And you catch it while it's wet and not dried, because that requires a whole nother method of cleaning it. Alright, so I just wanted to remind you of that, and stay tuned for what I will be introducing here in just a minute. Rolling. Okay, now I mentioned at the end of this video I was going to introduce something. Alright, now we have a blue and silver vessel sink that will be sitting on top. And this is the blue silver vessel sink that will be sitting on top of this. Okay? So, you can picture this on top. Okay, it should pop. Okay? It should pop. Should look pretty good sitting on top of that black. And so that's what we're going to do with this. Alright, now, so there's the vessel sink. And so that's what we're going to be doing. That's why we're going black, is my wife's idea. And so, thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience if you're still here from the beginning. And united we stand, united we make it happen here on YouTube. And as I always say, never give up, because there's always a way. Always. Now I will show you after what I've stained here and how it's looking. Alright, that is the door face, that's the back, and I'm not going to need to put a second coat on these. This is looking really good. Okay, so that's all I need. Next I'll be putting on the poly and putting the doors back on. Thanks for being here. Don't be a stranger. Bye for now.